Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. I hope you guys are well and that you're figuring out how all this is going to work just before we go on spring break. Shoot me an email and tell me what you're going to do for your spring break. I will tell you that Mr. Jackson and myself and Miss Clark are going to offer camp, virtual camp. It'll probably be during the second week of spring break. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. Let me know. But I am interested in like how you guys are doing, what's going on. I have been painting and making art like crazy. I made this painting today. I did a class for teachers, for Mr. Higgins, Miss Dickinson, um, Miss Honrado, and Miss Contreras. Let's see, I'll show you some other pieces that I've made very recently. This was one that I did yesterday. It was a time lapse. If you go to my Instagram, you can see it. I've got one here. So here's another little class that I did. Made this art with Miss Honrado, another little watercolor class. And then this is one I did on my Instagram live today. So if you go to my Instagram live, I'll make sure that I post it in the assignment that I give you for this assignment, so you can see it. But yeah, hope you guys are well. Let's talk a little bit. So the assignment that I want to give you now with Piskel, you've done a couple things. I'd like for you I want to give you free choice. Some of you have kind of done that already, but I'm going to give you a couple of rules within that. So I want you to have, it has to have a place, and there needs to be a character. It doesn't have to be a human character. Character sometimes can be as simple as a ball. A ball could be a character, depending on what you do with it. So I want you to create a place and a character and have them doing some things. We're moving towards kind of telling a story. So yeah. So I'm gonna show you just a couple things to help you. So I'm clicking over. Right now you're in my gallery, and you can see this was the animation that I made. One of the things that I want to talk about this afternoon is editing. So I'm looking at this animation that I've created. I spent a little bit of time on it, and I'm just noticing, for example, the way my mountains are moving. My mountains don't seem to be kind of fluidly moving across the screen. So that might be something that I want to try to edit. My clouds are kind of moving across the screen in a normal way, but they're not. They could probably be better than they are. So editing. So I'm going to just show you a couple things that might help you as you think about editing your piece. So I'm going to click over to the Piskel where I've been working on that animation piece. And you can see right now, if you look, let's see, I have 12 frames that I've created. And I'm on my second layer. So if you look over here on the right side, over here, I'm on layer 2 right now, and that's where the ball that the square that I've created that is the ball, that's where it exists. So I'm going to go back to layer 1. That's the nice thing about these layers is I can edit these layers and not have to worry about going back and changing the ball. That's why we want to, that's one of the things as we start to build and you get more involved in what you're going to create, the layers are very important. Before I go any further, I want to show you this. Some of you sent me your Piskels today, which I appreciate, but I want to show you this one more time. So I'm coming over here to the mountain with the sun shape on the right side. It says export, and you're going to click on upload, which many of you did today. I think I want you to, before you upload, I want you to scale this up. So make this scale big so that when you send me your Piskel, a lot of what you guys have sent me have been teeny tiny little Piskels. So make sure you scale it up and then upload. And I think so it's building another upload right now. I can see it down here in the bottom corner. Let's see if it gives me a second. So it changed. When I just uploaded again, after I changed the scale, it changed the web address. So keep that in mind. I had a few students that said they had difficulty copying this, so I've got my pointer over it, and I'm just going to hold the command key and click. Nope, that was wrong. I'm going to hold the control key. Those of you that have computer knowledge are laughing at me right now, and that's okay. Um, so I held the control key as I clicked, and now I can copy my link address, which is all you need to do to paste it a into an email that you would send to me. So I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to go, because I do want to show you, so when I clicked, I opened this up. So because I scaled it up nice and big, this is what I would receive if you sent me this email. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to bounce over real quick. I want to show you a couple of the Piskels that students sent me before I go too far um, into what I want you guys to think about. Let's see if this one is big enough. Nope, that one's not. Here it is. This is what I was going to show you. Grace, showing your work here, Grace. I hope that's okay. So Grace kind of took it and did kind of her own thing. So you can see like the landscape isn't moving across, but she's animated some birds that are flying into it. So kind of cool. At some point I might have a requirement where you do need to make a landscape move, but I just thought this was interesting, wanted to show it to you. And I'll show some others as we continue, but just wanted to kind of show you that example real quick. All right. I want to show you a new tool for editing today that I think some of you might appreciate. So you can see there's this, it's called shape selection. It's kind of like looks like a wand in my mind. So if you click on that shape selection, this is important too. So it's giving you, so I'm clicked on it, and if you look right next to it there, that little box that opens up, it tells you what to do. So you can copy the selected area, you can paste the copied area. It tells you how to do that right there. So make sure that sometimes when you hover over these, just kind of read what it tells you there because it gives you some advice. So I'm going to click on this so that tool is ready for me to use. And I'm going to find which frame I'm on. I'm on the 12th frame. So that's what we're looking at here on the screen. I'm going to duplicate this just because I want to show you how to use that tool. So now I've got this 13th frame, and I want to move this cloud, just the cloud, only the cloud by itself. So I'm going to click on the cloud. You can see how the whole thing kind of changed colors. What that little tool did was it just highlighted that whole area. And now this is where it's tricky, and I'll probably write this in your instructions, but I'm going to do Command X. So that's going to cut that cloud out of the sky there. So Command X. So I just cut it. You can see it changed colors again. And now I'm just going to shift it because that's what I wanted to do. I want this same cloud to shift. And let's say I wanted the cloud to maybe move down and across, or I could put this cloud kind of wherever I want. But I'm just going to shift it. And once I've moved that space where I want, this is where I'm going to click again. I'm going to click Command V, and that's a paste. So Command V, and then I'm going to switch now to my pen tool just so that I can see what has happened. And you can see I moved that cloud. And I know that I moved that cloud too because there's this whole empty space back here, which is where that cloud used to be. So real quick, I'm just going to go to my fill bucket, my paint bucket tool. I'm going to come down, so paint bucket tool over there, and I'm going to come down to my palettes, and I'm going to just choose that blue sky and fill in that hole. So now I'm moving the exact cloud that I've created. I don't have to try to redraw it or anything like that. So that's a really helpful tool. Some of you might be cursing me. Maybe I should have shown you that at the beginning, but I want you to see all of these different tools kind of as we might use them. So I'll use that tool one more time just to show you again. So I'm clicking on it's called a shape selection tool. To me, it always looks like a wand. So I'm going to click on it. Click on the cloud shape here. See it changed colors. So now I'm going to do that Command X. And that's going to allow me to move this cloud wherever I want. So I'm going to have it move kind of off screen here. And I'm going to do Command V because that's paste. I always think about, it's helpful for me to remember that Command V is paste because the V looks like something that would push something down. At least that's how my brain sees it. So here's Command V, and I've moved that cloud. I'm going to touch the pen tool just to see, and then I'm going to use my paint bucket tool. and I'm going to select blue from my palette, the blue that I've already used, and I'm just going to fill in that hole. So you can see over here, if you look at frame 12 and frame 13, I've shifted my cloud just very subtly. So that's something that I feel better about. Um, yep. So another thing that I could do here, if I'm going to continue to edit and I want to try to fix some of these things, I talked about editing. So I'm still in frame 13, and I'm looking at frame 12 and the way the mountain shape looks behind it. I want this mountain shape to move more smoothly. So again, I'm going to use that shape selection tool. I'm going to click on this whole mountain shape. See how it changed colors? I'm going to do Command X because I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to shift the whole thing. So again, this is kind of an easier way. If I just want to shift pieces of my animation, this is a good way to do that. So I've shifted that whole mountain. I'm going to do Command V for paste, and my mountain has been moved. And now I just need to fill in these two spaces where first I'm going to draw a little mountain there. Oh, wrong color. Now I'll use my paint bucket tool, and now I need to change to my blue, and there I'm using it again. So I've just shifted that whole mountain, and again, I think that's an editing piece that's gonna make me happier about the way this simple animation looks. So yep, there's some tools for you. Uh, like I say, I'll clarify some things in the assignment that I give you, but I just want you to you've got some tools under your belt. Now I want you to play. I want you to make something interesting. It has to have a setting, so you need to have a place in your animation, and you need to have a character. It can be a very simple character. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks.